Good afternoon, welcome to Nosey Road St Helens on a fine autumn day. And the Saints being led out this afternoon by Samantha Large, who is today's match day mascot. She's out there with Shane Cooper. I know Samantha is a near neighbour of Shane up at Mossbank. A big day for this young girl. She's all kitted out and she's even got red and white ribbons in her hair. Big day for this young lady. She attends school at Birchley St Mary's. Her hobbies are reading, swimming, she likes music, she also likes colouring and of course watching the Saints. There she was, just passing up to Shane Cooper. Her favourite players are Alan Hunt and Shane Cooper. Her dad John is an ardent Saints fan and she told her mum and dad on the way to the match that she really likes Alan Hunt and she wants to marry him. Well, I think she'll have to get behind the queue, won't she? And we'll have to see Alan about that. Anyway, Saints looking to keep up the winning ways. The team for this afternoon: David Lyon at full back. Riley, Hunt, Loughlin and Sullivan are in the three-quarter line. Vevers, versatile Vevers, at the half-back pairing with John Griffiths. Then we've got Neil Dwyer and Mann in the front row. Joint, Nicol and Cooper the back three. Gus O'Donnell and Adam Fogarty are on the bench. Wakefield have Gary Spencer at full-back, three-quarter line of Brown, Mason, Goddard and Wilson. Hanlon and Bagnall are at the half-back pairing. We've got Durham, Bell and Thompson in the front row. Woods, Forshaw and Longstaff are the back three, and they have Fuller and Marlowe on the bench. So Saints looking for the fourth win on the trot and amassing quite a number of points on the way. Referee for this afternoon is Mr. Jim Smith from Halifax, an old friend, if we can call him an old friend of the Saints. We remember him refereeing the Challenge Cup final at Wembley against Wigan in 1991. And both sets of teams lining up for a minute's silence in respect of the legendary wingman here at St Helens, Alf Ellaby, who sadly passed away. But let's get on with the today's action. Welcome to everybody in the sponsors' boxes. Pilkington's Insulation. I've just been having a chat with a few of the lads in there. Nice welcome to them. Hope you enjoy the match and get plenty of that amber falling down, liquid down your neck. Also all in the sponsors' boxes, the restaurant, in the development and souvenir shops and offices. Marion and Barbara, Jill and Ken in development and souvenir, ready for the action. A fine day, Saints playing up to the Eddington stand in this first half, and Wakefield to kick off, playing down to the sponsors' boxes, restaurant and clubhouse. And away we go. Alan Hunt picks it up, makes the break. Quick action from the Saints. Referee Smith quickly in. Well, that's not bad going, is it? 15 seconds on the watch, and referee Smith moves in, gives the Saints a penalty. Highly fancied this afternoon, St Helens. 20-odd point start on the coupon. The restart play with Bernard Dwyer flicking it up to John Neal. Both Bernard Dwyer and David Lyon omitted from Malcolm Riley's 19-man squad. And I don't know why. No recognised full-back, and certainly Dwyer, the in-form hooker. Saints still in possession, just inside the Wakefield half. Chris Joint, into space, Joint. Tremendous turn of pace, quick off the mark. Saints play it quickly. They've got to get an early start, early points. And here's another in-form forward, George Mann. Pushes 2-3 tacklers off, slips it out, keeps the ball going, and he's in a rich vein of form, George Mann of late. Maybe pressing for a test spot, but just a mix-up there with that movement. John Neal coming through, John Griffiths couldn't take it cleanly. First scrum of the match. Midway between the Wakefield 20-metre line and the halfway. Bagnall, this lively a scrum half. He feeds the scrum. Wakefield have the possession. They're coached by David Topless. Only won 2 this season. Had a good win last week at Sheffield, 30 points to 20. They're not frightened of throwing the ball about either. Nigel Bell, he brings the ball up. Now with John Thompson. Wakefield move it left. Lee Hanlon looking for that chink in the Saints' armour, but the ball out to the left. Well, the ball was knocked forward, clearly knocked forward there by Richard Goddard, and the referee said it's gone back. Obviously just the interpretation of how we read it, but Wakefield still have possession. And Wakefield still keeping it going. Loose forward, Simon Longstaff. The last tackle of the sequence. Hanlon has it, puts a tester up. David Lyon comes in for it. Oh, well shielded there. George Mann did the business, shielded him, and our Lyon, with takes like that and his general all-round play, can be omitted from this test team, certainly beyond my comprehension. But we know the feeling before, don't we, when the teams or your players are in form and they're not picked by the Great Britain coach. Obviously there'll be a slight leaning towards the Yorkshire-based sides, I would imagine. But Saints driving it forward. Wakefield has to get onside. John Griffiths gives the dummy, brings it left. Beavers, good ball there to Loughlin. Out to Tony Sullivan. Takes the man down the outside. Does a little shimmy, brings it in. But it's this man Beavers again. The man for all occasions. Chris Joint. He keeps it going to John Griffiths. Support there from Loughlin, but it goes behind him. And Andy Mason tidies it up. Well, Saints penalised for allegedly being offside. The referee moving in quickly, gives Wakefield a penalty. Joining me this afternoon in the commentary box, I have Neil Johnson, who does the A-team and academy videos. He's the voice piece behind them. A change for you to come on the first team, Neil, and well, with Saints being in form, we look forward to a big win today.
Absolutely, Ron. The Saints obviously in the last couple of matches have been playing some wonderful stuff, going over to West Yorkshire, and a couple of very, very good victories indeed. And good to see a very good audience out here at Knowlesy Road this afternoon to see if the Saints can move further up that table. At this point, of course, Wakefield are moving forward with some pace out to Richard Goddard. And he's still going. Ball flick back inside. George Mann and Sonny Nicol affecting the tackle. So play inside the 20 here. Bagnall involved. This is good work from Wakefield. The final ball going awry, and well, seems an obstruction there. A little bit unfortunate. Loughlin did collect the ball for St Helens, but it seems a penalty has been given, and Wakefield will have a golden opportunity here to make the scoreline 2-0 after just 5 minutes play. So it's certainly been a bright opening by both sides, and Wakefield will attempt to make it 2-0 in the shape of Richard Goddard.
Yes, thanks, Neil. But where Mr. Smith plucked that one from, I don't know, but Wakefield not frightened of throwing the ball about. They brought it from the left over to the right. Loughlin was in the right position, but Mr. Smith had judged that a Saints player had pulled a Wakefield player back, obviously taking him on suspicion. He penalised the Saints, and as Neil says, Goddard converts it. 6 minutes gone, and Wakefield in the lead by 2-0. Well, the referee there penalising the Saints. Goddard converted it. Obviously they have a difficult task, these referees. It's a high-speed, all-action sport, the best sport in the world as far as we're concerned. And Mr. Smith made his decision. Whether it be right or wrong, whatever we feel. And Saints now kick off. Phil Beavers gets the action going, a deep kick. Wakefield take it in the ring goal area. The Saints now will get the bit behind, between the teeth, follow it up, put pressure on Wakefield, and hopefully contain them in the 20-metre area. Saints have definitely turned the corner after a poor start. 2 away wins in Yorkshire the last 2 games. Castleford and Featherstone, 2 tremendous victories. And that win at Castleford, I say, let's hope it starts. It started the resurgence of the Saints, who were pretty mediocre in the early games. Looking back at the games, we probably shouldn't have been beaten at all, but just silly mistakes put to our downfall. Wakefield have possession. The last tackle of the sequence, 30 metres from the Saints line. Bagnall has it, he's running it. Hanlon tried to get it away, but the ball's knocked down. Andy Wilson has it. Well, it's the last tackle, it's going to be the turnover, surely. Saints have got to tackle the man. Hanlon has it. That's going to be the turnover, surely. Referee Smith signifies the turnover this time. Beavers out to Cooper. Loughlin. They're using this left wing. Well, it looked a little bit high there by John Thompson on Paul Loughlin. And Paul Loughlin just having a little look at him, saying, I've noticed that, my friend. No words to that effect anyway, but Thompson being spoken to, Saints have the penalty. Paul Loughlin in his testimonial season, lots of activities for him. Sportsman's dinner at the Golden Lion, Rainford, October the 27th, one of the next venues. Lots of action for this good servant of the Saints club. But Saints have the ball now. Dwyer brings in George Mann. Tries to drive it forward. Thompson was round the legs. John Griffith switching play now with Beavers. Beavers bringing in Sonny Nicol. Shrugs one off. Nicol and Joint included in Riley's starting team. Even though I think it's Joint that's on the bench. Cooper has it now. Out to David Lyon. Extra man. On to George Mann. Brings in Paul Loughlin. Loughlin drives it up centre field. Saints on the charge now. Looking to convert this into points. Griffiths. George Mann again. Sonny Nicol at close range. Support, yes. David Lyon there. Superb try by the Saints. 9 minutes gone. Saints register the first points. Well up in the action, David Lyon, but Saints keep the ball moving. A lot of pair of hands it went through, fed into Sonny Nicol. He saw David Lyon in support, put Saints on the board, 4 points to 2. Excellent try, Neil, well organised, lots of hands there, but well finished off by a supporting full-back Lyon, just giving Malcolm Reilly a nudge, Neil.
Indeed so, Ron. St Helens move into a 2-point advantage, 10 on the clock. It'll be Paul Loughlin to attempt to add a couple more for St Helens. George Mann involved in that move. George Mann has been involved in the game in a very big way so far. He really is playing some marvellous rugby this season for the Saints. And as Ron mentioned, after a shaky start to the season, St Helens are looking like a force again. Loughlin taking his time. Right-footed kick, flipping it over with more than a degree of confidence, and St Helens move into a 6 points to 2 advantage, 10 on the clock.
Yes, and let's get cracking again. Saints are going to get ball possession back. Hanlon restarts. Bernard Dwyer stops it, it goes back. Dwyer picks it up. Sonny Nicol stepping up at the acting half-back position. 6 points to 2 in the lead. Saints just getting into the swing of things. Lots of points needed to be scored to give Saints obviously a healthy points difference. Oh, good ball, Nicol. John Neal flicked it off the floor. Nicol out to Alan Hunt. Solid tackling on the far side, forces Hunt in. But Saints putting it together, flicking the ball up. Lots of action. And as Neil said before, quite a healthy crowd assembled here at Nosey Road. It's marvellous what a couple of good away wins in Yorkshire. Well, because they're usually the hardest games to win. A couple of good wins there, and you get the spectators coming back and flocking to this fine little arena we have here at Nosey Road. God's little acre. And you don't need me to tell you that you're at the home of the Charity Shield holders, the Premiership Trophy holders, the runners-up in the Lancashire Cup, runners-up in the League Championship, and looking to put those wrongs to right this season. Lying in 4th position in the league are the Saints. Wakefield are about 13th. Wakefield still in possession. Bagnall, I think that is, looking for the quick play of the ball. Bringing it out. Paul Brown. Played for Wakefield last week as a trialist. Whether they've actually signed him, I don't know, but he's named. Scored 2 tries last week in Wakefield's surprise, really, away win at the Don Valley Stadium against Sheffield. Wakefield all offside on the referee's left, but he chooses to ignore it this time. Well, again, but Bernard Dwyer capitalises on it. Dwyer turns in the tackle, looks for the support. John Neal back after an injury. Andy Dannett out with a shoulder injury. But early injuries from the Saints, and everybody's just coming back as John Griffiths looks for that half break. Tried to give the dummy and drive through. Just taken down this time. Last tackle of the sequence. On to Vivers. Oh, excellent kick by Vivers, is it? Yes. Rifles it into the top right-hand corner. Putting pressure on Wakefield. It's going to be Wakefield head and feed with the scrum, so they shouldn't have any problem. But let's see if the Saints pack can force them off the ball. Bagnall will feed the scrum. Wakefield possession. Andy Mason coming in. Beg your pardon, Andy Wilson coming in. Excellent campaigner, Wilson. Been at Wakefield quite a long time, and you don't give this fella an inch. He can get out of the very tightest of situations. Now with Paul Brown. Cooper stops him, but he bounces off Cooper, bounces off Tony Sullivan. Loughlin wraps him up. Brought forward, John Thompson. Powers his way downfield. Bagnall. Second row forward there, Mike Forshaw, ex-Wiganer. Couldn't break into the first team as often as he'd like at Central Park. Asked for a transfer, Wakefield snapped him up. Paul Round, also ex-Saint, playing with Wakefield. But he was sent off last week. Whether he's been up for before the disciplinary, we don't know, but obviously he's not out taking his place here this afternoon. Wakefield kick it through, goes directly dead. Saints restart from the centre of the 20-metre line. Tony Sullivan comes in, obviously looking for that half gap. Now with George Mann, he straightens it up, breaks out of the tackle, releases the ball to Cooper. Cooper gets it away to David Lyon, and Lyon up the middle. He's got Sonny Nicol on his inside. Let's see if Nicol can outpace the defence. Good tackle, 10 metres short. Saints wants a quick play of the ball, but Nicol's impeded. And as they usually say, that's what they call a professional foul, because Nicol wasn't allowed to get up quickly. The referee has just penalised Wakefield for it. It's what they say, have Wakefield opted for the 2 points instead of the 6, Neil, because I feel if Saints could have played it quickly, we'd have had another try and possibly 6 points on the board.
Indeed so. Sonny Nicol offering some wonderful pace. Also David Lyon involved in that move, breaking from a defence to offer the pass to Nicol. Nicol almost making the line. He was looking for support. Then the foul play came in. Offers St Helens a reasonable opportunity to add a couple more points. But certainly 6 would have been preferable. So Paul Loughlin just inside the 20. He'll attempt to increase the lead by a couple. Sets himself up. He'll step in. Clips it with the right foot. St Helens move into an 8 points to 2 advantage.
Yes, 8 points to 2 now, 17 minutes gone. Wakefield committing what we would consider the professional foul in holding Sonny Nicol down after that great break by David Lyon. Lyon, George Mann heavily involved. Mike Riley comes in. Well, just backs into the defence, couldn't break through. Bernard Dwyer wants a quick play of the ball, and Saints looking hungry for points this afternoon. Chris Joint breaks through the first line of defence. Wakefield regroup, bang him down, and Saints bring it blindside. George Mann again. These powerhouse forwards making headway as Bernard Dwyer now turns it back inside. Well, I thought he was, but he saw the gap. He made the extra yardage. John Griffiths chips it up, and Griffiths is following the ball. Will it go dead? It has. It's just run too long. Wakefield will restart with a tap from the centre of the 20-metre line. As I've said, in the last 3 games, Saints have amassed 106 points for, with just 50 points against. 2 excellent wins, Castleford and Featherstone. And Andy Wilson coming through, quickly dispatched to the earth by Neil and Sonny Nicol. But both sides have been throwing the ball out a bit. Well, nearly caught off guard there with Wakefield. Shane Cooper moved in quickly. Bernard Dwyer's in assisting. And Wakefield in possession, trailing by 8 points to 2. Nearly halfway through this first half. Forshaw plays the ball. Andy Mason attacked in half-back, feeds it inside. Woods in possession for Wakefield. The last tackle of the sequence. Bagnall looking for the planned move. Simon Longstaff puts it downfield, but it won't find touch. It's curled round and gone dead. Bernard Dwyer probably will restart from the centre of the 20-metre line. Tony Sullivan again, and certainly, as you can hear down below, the popular side faithful asking the referee to get them onside. Penalised the Saints once this afternoon for being offside, but as of yet he's been unable to see anything wrong with the Wakefield line out. Well, Lee Hanlon they're breaking, just as we said, and ironic cheers, or ironic jeers from the popular side, and no doubt all round this arena, as Wakefield are pinned for offside. Bernard Dwyer will restart just outside the 20-metre area. John Neal, the first forward in, 2 or 3 forward drives. Laughlin comes on the dummy run now with George Mann, powers his way in, 10 metres short. Dwyer attacked in half. Saints will move it to the right. Griffiths, Vevers, on to Chris Joint. Exciting move there, trying to draw the Wakefield defence in, and then with the fella coming on the opposite diagonal, slip it through. John Neal flicks it up, but the ball's gone to a Wakefield pair of hands. Unfortunately, they're just one pass too many. Bagnall turns it left. Hooker Nigel Bell. A lot of exciting moves there, Neil, but just one pass too many, and just Wakefield obviously gaining valuable possession as far as they're concerned.
Well, certainly playing the part this afternoon, Wakefield. Coming here against a very informed St Helens side is not something you'd look forward to, I wouldn't have thought, but they're certainly offering some good offence and being fully taught in the defensive line. St Helens at this point just 6 points in the lead. It's Anthony Sullivan, he'll cut inside, he's brought down. Bernard Dwyer starts things up. This is Paul Laughlin running onto the pass, taking play, approaching the halfway mark. Dwyer again. To Jonathan Neal, strong barging run inside the Wakefield half of the field. Dwyer awaits, feeds Shane Cooper. Cooper inside to Chris Joynt. He's been lively early on in this one. George Mann inside of Griffiths. Sonny Nichols switches nicely back to Griffiths. Lovely fluent play this. Here's Hunt. The final tackle here for St Helens. What will the ploy be? Well, it seems an injury sustained perhaps by Alan Hunt in the midst of that tackle. Bernard Dwyer will elect to kick, finds touch, and it'll be a scrum down.
Yes, and I think it's going to be a scrum down with a Saints feed, Neil, because I think that ball touched David Woods on its way to touch. Bernard Dwyer was quickly pointing to, or letting referee Smith know that it had touched the player. I think he signalled that it had actually touched Woods, or touched the player, yes, and Saints have scrum possession. Well, has it gone against the head? Saints should have had scrum possession, but Wakefield there, they pulled that one out of the bag. It should have been Saints on the attack in the Wakefield 20-metre area, but it's Wakefield that come up with scrum possession. Well, the Cardinals sin, as they say, as Thompson flicks it back. I think that's Bagnall in possession. Nigel Bell, the hooker, that's acting halfback. Wakefield bringing it crossfield. Andy Mason, well taken down by Vivers. And one thing about this fella Vivers, so versatile, fill in any position. And he's definitely filled in more or less every position in the early part of the season. Well, a poor kick as far as Wakefield are concerned, especially for a clearance. David Lyon takes it crossfield. Oh, good break by Lyon. Carves his way through. Excellent 25-metre drive. Shane Cooper taking up the running. Creates the gap. Dwyer's there on his shoulder, but good clamp tackling by Wakefield. The ball couldn't be released. 24 minutes gone. Saints in an 8-2 lead. And we're just waiting for the time bomb to explode with the Saints just get into the swing. Let's hope this Wakefield outfit will tire out. Beavers, Chris Joynt, he straightens up. He's brought down centre field, 30 metres out. Saints bring it left. Griffiths turns inside to George Mann now with Loughlin. Oh, it must be a try here. Beavers, support from Nicholl. Oh, just couldn't take it. Bernard Dwyer follows it up, touches it down, but the ball was knocked forward. Excellent rugby by the Saints. A big gap emerged there on the right with Phil Beavers and Sonny Nicholl on his outside. He just couldn't take it. The ball went down and a scrum down will be formed. Wakefield feed. Let's see if Saints can get one against the head here. No, Bagnall. He gets the scrum feed and Saints forced to defend again. Well, Saints penalised for offside. Mr. Smith obviously looking hard and long at the Saints as far as the opening 25 minutes have been concerned. It's just a pity really that he hadn't taken or paid a little bit more attention to the Wakefield side. But John Neal and Bernard Dwyer effect the tackle. Well, Saints have possession, do they? No, he's waved it off. Such the Saints player and gone back, and Thompson has possession. Now with the other prop forward, Steve Durham. Wakefield in possession, just outside the Saints 20-metre area, and they're keeping it going. The hooker, Nigel Bell, makes a valuable 10-15 metres further forward. Bagnall at dummy half. He brings it over to the left. Forshaw flicks it up. It's bounced off Longstaff and back into Saints' hands, and George Mann is coming away with it. Excellent competitor, George Mann. Good driving run. Saints want to play it quickly. Wakefield move up quickly, and Chris Joynt stepping out. Joynt loses the ball. Looks as though Bagnall, I think it was Bagnall, he got a hand to that, but Wakefield have it. George Mann went for David Woods, but he just broke through the tackle. Wakefield keeping it moving. Hanlon looking for the half break. but he releases it. Wakefield throwing it about, but they're not making much yardage as Longstaff has it. He drives it well, he drives it forward. Saints come up with it and Lyon brings it away. Alan Hunt rounds his man. Oh, just taken down there. Andy Wilson just got to him. Mike Riley comes across, but Wakefield put it through a lot of pair of hands there, but didn't make much yardage. And now it's Saints. See what they can do. You can only play as well as the opposition will let you, and the referee certainly not keeping Wakefield onside, but a rare error there as Bernard Dwyer couldn't control it. Wakefield have ball possession back. Second row, David Woods. Well, it's a fine day, Neil, and handling shouldn't be a problem, but just the last few minutes, it certainly has on both sides.
Certainly has, Ron. You wouldn't expect it to be a problem on a beautiful afternoon like this, but here we go again with Wakefield. They're offering some offence and looking rather dangerous. And St Helens really do need to bring down the man, John Thompson, inside. Bell feeds it out wide. A little bit untidy, but they're certainly on the offence here, the Wakefield outfit. This is Goddard inside the 20, eventually brought down by Jonathan Griffiths and Sonny Nicol. There's the prop Durham. And elements of danger here for St Helens. The defence must be taught here. Well gathered eventually by Chris Joint. Joint will move forward now. And that's good work from Chris Joint. He relieved the pressure there for St Helens. Here's Anthony Sullivan moving forward with some pace. He'll be brought down centre field, just inside the St Helens half.
Yes, Saints driving it up from their own line and now penetrating the Wakefield half. And I feel that Mike McLennan is going to have a few staunch and stiff words at half-time with perhaps the Saints tackling. They got out of jail at that end, but Wakefield were allowed to throw the ball around quite a bit. And the Saints should be going in twos and threes and banging the opposition down, making the tackles felt. But Alan Hunt comes up on the opposite wing from the right centre over to the left. Last tackle of the sequence, John Griffiths elects to run it blindside. Follows it up, well, that's a knock-on. Yes, Brown knocked it forward, clearly a knock-on. Excellent work there by Griff. Put a little grubber, followed it through. Brown couldn't take it. Well, he couldn't take it cleanly, he knocked it forward. And now's the time for Saints to put pressure on Wakefield. 15 metres from the Wakefield line, John Griffiths to feed. And it's essential now that the Saints come up with points. Leading by 8-2, they have possession. Griffiths onto Lyon again. Tidy tackling there. Saints want to quick play the ball. Griffiths moves up again. Now it's with Vivers. Brings it in field. Creates the gap, does Vivers, but good clamp tackling there. Goddard, Woods involved. Wakefield now regroup. Dwyer takes it blindside. Can he drive through? Yes, he scored. No, he's not. Must be inches short. Thought Dwyer had squeezed in. Saints, they've got to pass it along the line. Quick hands. Cooper beats the man. Long cut out pass to Loughlin. Takes it on the run. Takes it crossfield. Out there to John Neal. It's touched a Wakefield man. Nicol has it. And Nicol will drive for the corner. He brings in Alan Hunt. Yes, Hunt's in. That must be a try. No, it's not. He said the man's held on his back. But good work there, Neil. Unfortunately, the referee moving across, and whether he's given it or the touch judge, but it looks as though Alan Hunt had squaws in.
Well, a wonderful series of passing movements there from St Helens, offering the pace and the movement and the fluency. Alan Hunt denied at the very last, offered the pace, got over the line, but was turned over in the tackle. So Wakefield breathe again, but St Helens certainly at this point starting to offer a little bit more in the offensive line. And Wakefield with some relief can come away with the ball now. Or can they? St Helens retrieve, a little bit of an error. And Shane Cooper was on hand to regather for St Helens. Dwyer starts things up here. Here's Jonathan Neal up to the 20, offloads. Bernard Dwyer bundles the ball back to Jonathan Griffiths. Oh, here we go. Griffiths going for the line. Wonderful last-ditch tackle. Oh, super stuff, St Helens. Dwyer Vivas. Dwyer again. Again, flick back. Oh, super stuff now. Nicol receives. Off to the right-hand flank. Pops the ball out. This is Mike Riley now, jinking inside. Desperate defence from Wakefield. Play now at centre field. 5 metres from the line. Cooper. Inside to Joint. Flicks it back to Neil. Oh, well. Not quite what we were looking for. The ball is thrown into touch, and that pleasing attacking sequence ends in failure.
Yes, it's putting it together, and the ball, David Lyon, I think it was, that threw the last pass out, obviously looking for Anthony Sullivan on the wing. Unfortunately, it was all inside. Attacking, and the ball going into touch. I can just give a birthday mention now to Jack Sudworth from Windle Bowling Club. Regular viewers of ours in Windle Bowling Club. We don't know how old you are, Jack. I know you're over 21, I've been told. So enjoy your birthday, and it's your turn. Get the ale in. Scrum down now. Wakefield feed. Bagnall feeds it inside. Paul Brown, I think that comes in. Both Wakefield substitutes warming up, and they're in possession, and they're moving it over to the left. Simon Longstaff pushes off the Saints defence, comes in again, but runs into George Mann. Shane Cooper assists. Nigel Bell at the acting half-back position. Wakefield moving it cross-field. Bagnall feeds it inside to David Woods. Solid tackling by the Saints. Chris Joint heavily involved. Forshaw has it. He slips it out to Bagnall. Well, that's surely crossing that. The referee put the whistle to his mouth and then withdrew it. It's the last tackle of this sequence. Good yardage made by Wakefield. Bagnall there again. They've got to try and close this lively Aussie down. He chips it through, and Mike Riley comes up with possession. Goddard is one of the tacklers. A lot of maul in there at the play the ball. Bagnall and Goddard. David Lyon moved up well from the full-back position, heavily involved in the action. It's just a matter of time, we hope, before the Saints can put more points on the board. John Neal drives it straight and hard. Saints crying out for support. Cooper now getting his troops going. He sees the gap, he drives for it. He releases it there to Sonny Nicol. Out to Alan Hunt. Oh, superb tackle on the far side. Moved in quickly, followed his man. Andy Wilson brings Alan Hunt down. Joint now. Vivas strips the dummy, then slips it out to John Griffiths. Griffiths holds it well, with Wilson coming in yet again. David Lyon chips it over. Well-weighted kick. Alan Hunt chasing it. Alan Hunt, a Wakefield lad, usually does well against Wakefield. Remember him scoring about a 75-80 yarder at Bellevue Wakefield. It sealed the game for the Saints a couple of seasons ago. But Wakefield have the possession. 5 minutes to the interval. Saints in the lead by 8 points to 2. Strong running, but Wakefield always flicking it out. Nigel Bell has it. He's making good yardage, and the tackling will have to be tightened up. As I said earlier, I can imagine Mike McLennan will be reading the riot act at half-time. Bagnall just losing his footing. Last tackle of the sequence. Longstaff puts it high. It's a tester, obviously, for David Lyon, but no problem in the end. Bounces once, goes dead. Saints will restart, centre of the 20. As I said before, welcome to you all in the sponsors' boxes and in the boardroom, the restaurant. Special guests of the Saints board and chairman Eric Ashton today are Tommy and Jimmy Stott, two vital cogs in the Saints team in the 40s. Nice to see them here. both getting on a bit now, but I'm sure they're enjoying their afternoon this afternoon as John Neal takes up the running. Solid tackling there by John Thompson, and John Neal just had a look at him. There's not many who'll take anything out of John Neal. Good break there, Loughlin out to Alan Hunt. Hunt now, just a full back to beat. Passes the ball over, yes. Oh, super try there. David Lyon in for his second. Superb try. Moved over to the main stand side here at Nosey Road. Paul Loughlin coming through like a rocket, playing on the left centre, but over there on the right, Alan Hunt outside him. Good support by Hunt. He only had the full back to beat, and David Lyon also backing up, and he's just giving Malcolm Reilly a nudge that he hasn't been picked, but Lyon in for his second. Superb rugby, Neil.
Wonderful play, St Helens. Alan Hunt, I thought for a moment he'd made the wrong decision by cutting inside, but without question he did make the right decision. Wonderful support offered, of course, by David Lyon, grabbing his second of the afternoon. And St Helens now with, well, you can say a comfortable-ish sort of scoreline at 12 points to 2. Wakefield have certainly played their part up until this point. 12-2, of course, the score with 2 or 3 minutes remaining in this first half. Paul Loughlin will now attempt to add a couple more. Again, just inside the 20-metre mark. So he steps up, clips the ball with the right foot, and it is offline. So this one's set up rather nicely, certainly for the second half. St Helens with a 10-point advantage at this point. Wakefield certainly playing rather well this afternoon, and St Helens not quite got into their stride yet. We look forward to the second half, Aaron.
I'm certain it will be a better second half, Neil, when the half-time pep talk has taken place. Saints have possession. Unfortunately, Paul Loughlin missing that, as you said, Neil. 10 points between the teams, 12 points to 2. Sonny Nicol powering his way forward. Wakefield moving up quickly again. Quick break by the Saints. George Mann looking for support. Chris Joint was with him, but good tackling by Wakefield. Dwyer slips it up to Paul Loughlin. Running hard and strong, and he's running, well, since he came back with his shoulder injury. I thought that Paul has been playing rather, or not running at full potential, but he certainly is this afternoon. Saints lose possession, Wakefield snap it up. Veteran centre Andy Mason has the ball. There's the half-time hooter. So I suppose, as they say, psychologically, Saints scoring at the right time with just 3 minutes before the interval. That Lyon try after some good backing up. Loughlin couldn't convert it. 12-2 at half-time. Looking forward to an excellent second half. As I said before, it's Paul Loughlin's testimonial season. A couple of the events coming up shortly. A sportsman's dinner at the Golden Lion Rainford on October the 27th. £12.50 a ticket, and on the following Saturday at the town ground here at St Helens, a comedy night, the Battle of the Sexes. Female comedienne, well, that's what they call them in here, comedienne is a lady against a comedian. Tickets available from Lenny Lowe on 29660. Get behind Paul Loughlin, support his testimonial season, and let's hope he can have a bumper check at the end of the 12 months. 12-2 at half-time, join us shortly. Second half action, Saints in the lead at half-time, 12 points to 2. Before we can get underway, if I can just give a mention about a couple of race nights. I know it's Paul Loughlin's testimonial year, and one of them concerns Paul, but the other one is next Sunday, the 17th of October. It's in aid of Ray Ryan, who unfortunately has motor neurone disease, and they're trying to raise funds, obviously, for himself and his family. a crippling disease, motor neuron disease. Let's hope you can support him. Up at the Bird at Hand, just at the top of the road next Sunday. Saints haven't got a game, so see if you can go up there and help Ray out. Also at the Bird at Hand, the following Sunday, there's a race night. That's the Sunday the 24th, in aid of Paul Loughlin testimonial, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. They're very good evenings, and there's good ale as well. Now ready for the action. 12 points to 2 the score. Saints to kick off. Phil Beavers gets things going. Saints playing down towards the restaurant sponsors box end. David Topless will have no doubt GD's side up at half-time. Went into the lead after the 6th minute with a Goddard penalty goal, very harshly in my totally impartial point of view. Well, that's Wakefield's only points. Prop forward Steve Durham. Durham and substitute Marlowe both came from the Hull area, but Mike Riley gets the ball from the chip through. Goddard there round the top, Hanlon around the legs. Alan Hunt attacked in half-back. Beats the first line of defence. Alan Hunt will take them on. Scored 3 tries last week at Featherstone after a 4-match break due to the disciplinary committee. But Shane Cooper taking the ball left, straightens it up, creates the gap, and Loughlin there running hard and strong. Support inside from Cooper again. Saints keeping it going. Superb rugby by the Saints. Chris Joint brought down short of the 20-metre area. 40-50 metres upfield now, and John Neal, well, somebody's going to be he looks though he's reaching for his pocket there. Saints have the penalty. Saints are going for goal. Well, I thought somebody was going to be reprimanded, but Saints awarded the first penalty of the second half. A chance for Loughlin to tag another one on. Don't forget, call at the souvenir shop later, just at the front of the building. Marion will only be too pleased to assist you and help you in your selection of extensive souvenirs for sale. Also in your sponsors boxes this afternoon, hello to John Ledger, Barry Ledger's brother, and his wife Jackie. The 2 sons are with them, Carl and Michael. They both play rugby, and they're both bonny lads as well. Excellent prospects. Hope you're enjoying the afternoon. Hope Carl and Michael have got a pint each. Well, I know John has anyway. As Loughlin steps up, slots it between the uprights. 2 more points for the Saints. 14-2, 2 minutes of the second half gone. Three goals to Loughlin this afternoon. 12 goals before this afternoon's match. 2 tries for David Lyon. He already had 3 before this afternoon, so he's the leading try scorer with 5 tries. Alan Hunt coming back into contention last week at Featherstone with a hat-trick. So he's looking forward to getting at the top of the try lists again. Sonny Nicol powering it forward. Nicol and Joint in the first test this Saturday at Wembley. Substitution for Wakefield there, with Fuller coming on for Bagnall. 3 minutes of the second half gone. So whether that will disrupt the Wakefield momentum, let's hope it will, because live wire is this Bagnall. Needed to be watched. Took a knock, been replaced. Ian Marlowe also on. But Wakefield running it again. Solid tackling there. Phil Beavers. Was it? No, beg your pardon. Bernard Dwyer and Shane Cooper. Nigel Bell trying to squeeze through. Saints defence is going to be tested here. Acting halfback, Ian Marlowe. A few Wakefield spectators at the Eddington end. as they do in usually in Yorkshire. They change ends at half-time. But quite a healthy crowd, a lot of support. Marlowe has it. Puts a chip up, Marlowe knocks it back. Nigel Bell has it, Wakefield look to spread it out. Andy Wilson has possession now. Inside ball to Mike Forshaw, going for the corner. David Lyon, well, looks as though he was trying to let it roll, but in the end he had to knock it dead with Andy Wilson bearing down on him. One thing you can say about these Yorkshire spectators, they're very vocal, but it's just when they stand at the end there, you get that at Leeds, Headingley, and all you get out of them is Yorkshire, Yorkshire. But we're not interested in that anyway. Deep kick there, taken by Gary Spencer. Fed it inside. Good driving run. David Woods, I think that running the ball up. Now it's his substitute forward, Marlowe. He's looking for support there. Matthew Fuller was on his left. But Shane Cooper, he's just consulting with referee Smith as to the interpretation of that penalty award to Wakefield. But you get no joy out of referee Smith. So Goddard will have a go for goal. Early minutes of the second half. It started off well, Neil, with the Lachlan penalty goal. Wakefield now a chance to get another couple of points back, but obviously early days yet.
Well, certainly, Ron, yeah, we're still sort of waiting for St Helens to get into the swing of things, if you like. They've certainly not been playing like they have been in the two most impressive away victories over the last couple of weeks. And Wakefield are obviously scenting this. Richard Goddard about to take this penalty, which would reduce the arrears to just 10 points. He's successful in that. And it really is a case of St Helens really getting their act together at this point and starting to offer some sort of offence. So, 46 minutes into this one, St Helens 14 points, Wakefield 4. And we're just waiting for St Helens to light the fire, as it were, Ron.
Yes, we want them to erupt. Well, Saints are going to have possession here. Gus O'Donnell warming up on the touchline. Saints have possession, 10 metres out. I'm just going to say 10 yards, but I'm a pound, shillings and pence man myself, but with this metres, you know, we're not used to this, are we, us old uns? Beavers has the ball, lofted ball to Lachlan, into space, support by Lyon. It's going to be a run in here. Alan Hunt, he's going to go behind the sticks. Excellent try by the Saints. Putting pressure on Wakefield in their own 20-metre area. They lost possession. Saints capitalised on it. They moved it quickly along the line. A cut-out ball to Lachlan. He was in acres of space. He had Alan Hunt on his outside. He put Hunt in. He went in at the corner for his... he went in at the corner. No opposition. Went in, took it behind the sticks virtually, and extends the Saints' lead and registers Alan Hunt's 4th try of the season. Superbly finished, Neil. Well deserved.
Well, I think we can safely say that the fire has been well and truly lit with that marvellous score from Alan Hunt. Meanwhile, Sonny Nicol takes a breather, to the great appreciation of the popular side. But really, that was a marvellous score, initiated there by Paul Lachlan, Lyon involved, and the support coming in from Alan Hunt was most impressive under the post. And Helens now in control, you might say. Lachlan surely will pop that one over. 20 points to 4 now, 48 on the clock, and let's hope St Helens now can start to offer a points avalanche.
Yes, Gus O'Donnell has come on. Sonny Nicol has gone for a rest, maybe with Saints being in what you could say a commanding lead. They brought Sonny Nicol off. He is in the test match this Saturday as Hanlon restarts, but it's gone directly into touch, so that's a penalty to the Saints. They can elect to go for goal if they wish from the centre spot, I think Saints will just make good yardage to touch as David Lyon comes up. He's going to try and find touch on the popular side. Should give Saints a good platform to build on. Excellent kick by Lyon. 25 metres. Well, Mr. Smith bringing him back a bit. The referee, well, get it played, referee Smith says. John Neal, first man in, but referee Smith had took the Saints back a bit further than they should have been there, but they have possession. Cooper beats the defence, slips it out to Joint. Saints with an overlap on the left. Joint takes the tattle on the 20-metre line. Saints just slipping into top gear now. Bernard Dwyer carving his way through. I think Dwyer will have gone in the second row. Gus O'Donnell will be at the hooking berth. Beavers brings in George Mann, shrugs the tackler off. Look at the strength of this man. Sheer upper body strength there, forcing his way through. O'Donnell and Cooper working the loop movement. O'Donnell straightens up. 5 metres short now. Cooper wants to quick play the ball. Saints bring it right. George Mann, Beavers along the line. Short ball to Hunt. The last tackle of the sequence. Held, referee Smith says. And Wakefield effect the turnover. Good pressure there, Neil. Nearly paid dividends, but I think with the introduction, well, I don't know. Referee Smith there moves up again and penalises the Saints for offside. I'm not one for usually sitting on the fence about referees, but I think he's really been very harsh on the Saints this afternoon and not looked at the opposition. But it just gets to you. I'm sorry about that, Neil. Unfortunately, Saints just coming up with the goods, but Gus O'Donnell should inject a little bit more pace into the Saints' attack.
Gus O'Donnell certainly playing his part in the early stages of his presence on the field this afternoon. Wakefield quite fortunate in getting themselves into this position, as Ron says. A couple of dubious decisions by the referee, but they'll certainly come away with it now. This is Lee Hansen. He's been buzzing all afternoon. Ball played out wide to Brown. He'll take play up to the 20-metre mark. So St Helens now will have to get through a little bit of defending as Wakefield offer some offence. Nice sweeping ball out wide to Spencer. The support is available, but he goes it alone. The pass goes awry. It'll be a knock-on, and St Helens, with some relief, can take this scrum down and get themselves back up the field, Ron.
Yes, they withstood the storm there, Neil, with Wakefield attacking. And obviously, when the referee's having a bit of a go at you, you've just got to ease off a bit. Scrum down, Saints feed. John Griffiths gets possession. Mike Riley coming in field. Shane Cooper again running it out. Brings in Paul Loughlin on the opposite diagonal. Pushes two off, turns in the tackle, looking to release it. But Goddard had him clamped along with the hooker. No, it's the prop forward, Steve Durham. John Neal, good ball to George Mann. Alan Hunt running up, gets it away to Mike Riley. Not a lot of chances, Riley, in this game. And Alan Hunt just taking another knock. Beavers along the line. Cooper sees the gap. Super Cooper brings it down the middle. So Saints awarded a penalty there. Cooper wanted to get up quickly and play it. And Durham holds him down. Marlowe, beg your pardon, holds him down. Saints are awarded a penalty. And will they elect for goal? No, David Lyon trying to put pressure on Wakefield. Just a matter of time before they crack even further. 20 points to 4 the score. Nearly 14 minutes of the second half gone. 10 metres from the Wakefield line. Saints in command and in possession. Cooper, George Mann, bringing back Cooper. Joint coming through as well. Out to Lyon, on to Loughlin. The ball going through lots of pair of hands. But the ball lost. Wakefield came up with possession. Knock on, I think, being indicated there by referee Smith. And Hanlon taking over the scrum half roll. Gets possession for Wakefield. Quick play the ball. Viva's moved in quickly. Simon Longstaff has possession for Wakefield now. Bell inside to Marlowe. Strong running forward. Just come on at half time. Bell, he gets it away and gets the ball back. Gus O'Donnell moves in quickly. Popular figure here, O'Donnell, since his £80,000 signing from Central Park. Well, the crossing movement again, and it's now with Andy Mason. Vivas completes the tackle. Hanlon puts in a crossfield kick. Mike Riley takes it cleanly, drives up the centre. Goddard and Bell complete the tackle. Alan Hunt gets it away to Mike Riley. Saint should have been spreading the ball over to the left, I feel there, but unfortunately Riley took the tackle. Now it's John Neal, powers his way down. As ever, turning in the tackle, looking to release it. George Mann breaks the tackle. John Griffiths is with him. Griffiths in for the corner. Oh, dear me. Just lost the ball, did John Griffiths. Looking to turn it in field. David Lyon was there again, as ever, backing up. But good tackling there by John Griffiths. Wakefield have possession, and Saints trying to force the player over the line. Andy Wilson coming away. A golden opportunity there for the Saints, just going astray. And Wakefield at the wrong end of the field as far as they're concerned. Now playing the last of their sequence of 6 tackles. Bell pops it up. David Lyon should take it comfortably as Bell, the kicker, follows it up. Lyon there breaks through, and it's Bell that actually brings him down. Saints move well. Wakefield penalised for offside. Once again, ironic cheers, as Wakefield certainly should have been taken back another 10 metres again. But Saints play it quickly. Vivas has it, draws the defence, tries to miss out Paul Loughlin and give it to Anthony Sullivan. But an awkward ball, he couldn't take it. 17 minutes of the second half gone. Saints still in the lead by 20 points to 4. I'm sure today's matchday mascot, Samantha Large, she'll be enjoying this along with all the Large family. I don't mean she has a large family, I mean the Large family. Dad John, an old pal of mine, and his younger son David, along with his wife and his daughter, his other daughter, who are here this afternoon. 20 points to 4 the score. 23 minutes remaining. Well, the ball not played correctly as Andy Mason comes up with it, and a little fracas breaking out. The game had carried on. But the players going in there trying to separate. It looks like Simon Longstaff and John Neal that was involved. So obviously a little difference of opinion in the tackle there. I mean, John Neal, no nonsense forward, just gets in there, gets on with the job. But it looks as though, well, has he been sin-binned? I think John Neal's been sin-binned. And Longstaff being spoken to. Yes, Longstaff's been sin-binned as well. .58 minutes gone. Both down to 12 men. Longstaff and Neal in the sin bin. Saints in the lead by 20 points to 4. Wakefield in possession. Spencer on to Mason. Lofted ball. Goddard has possession. Vivas comes in, Cooper as well. Alan Hunt lends the extra poundage. Forshaw. Hanlon has it. Brown now the winger. Last tackle of the sequence. Wakefield in possession. Hanlon puts a tester up. David Lyon moves in. Takes it comfortably. Marlowe moves in on him and he must be offside. Yes, referee Smith has ruled him offside. Saints with the penalty. Saints completing the double over Wakefield last season here at Nosey Road, winning by 24 points to 12. Whilst at Bellevue they came through by 18 points to 5. Well on the way this afternoon to 2 more league points. 20 points to 4 in the lead. George Mann slips it away to Bernard Dwyer. 3/4 of the game gone, 20 minutes to go. Gus O'Donnell onto Cooper's run well. Cooper well taken by Mike Riley. O'Donnell at dummy half onto Griffiths. Out to Vivas, took it well, draws the man well and brings in Alan Hunt. Hunt rounds in the man, inside to David Lyon, looking for his hat-trick. Lyon still pumping the legs, still driving forward. 10 metres from the line, Wakefield under the cosh. Saints moving left. Good ball. Well, Loughlin surely off the Wakefield man, but it went to Spencer. Loughlin tried to get it over the top to Tony Sullivan. But Saints will have to move up now, make sure that Wakefield can't move, that they can't even breathe. 10 metres from their own line. And Wakefield in possession, but well, they are attacking, but they've got to defend as well, obviously, as Saints put the pressure on them. George Mann just taking a knock, Saints up well. The ball came out. I thought that may have been offside, but it must have touched the Saints player. But obviously not. The tackle count isn't waved clean. Wakefield still in possession. Hanlon has it. Alan Hunt tries to tap his ankles. Spencer comes up and he's taken down by John Griffiths. George Mann receiving treatment. Hanlon gets the ball away. David Lyon should take it comfortably. Poor kicking this afternoon. Well, a knock on by Wakefield. Scrum down with the Wakefield feed. He's actually a judge that Saints had knocked on when David Lyon drew the defence, passed it out to Tony Sullivan, couldn't take it cleanly. Then Wakefield couldn't gather it, so the first knock on being ruled. 20 points to 4 the score, and 18 minutes of the game remaining. George Mann back in the fray. Just taking a knock there, Saints physio Jeanette Smith has treated him. And Wakefield have possession. Run around movement there. Good, well through the gap, I was just going to say, by Matthew Fuller. Well hounded by Alan Hunt. And Hunt now driving it forward, showing the ball. Gives it to John Griffiths. Good yardage there by the Saints. Hunt looking for support. He found it in John Griffiths, and now the Saints now piling on the pressure. Joint flicks the ball up. Saints keeping it moving. Dwyer now leading the charge. Good ball for Vivas. Oh, well taken by Vivas. Equally well taken by Mike Riley. Good work by Vivas. He just helped it on, and Riley took it. Gus O'Donnell. Saints now have Wakefield spread on the left. Cooper down the middle, he straightens it. Oh dear me. Andy Mason with a bit of a high tackle on Cooper. But Saints keeping up the charge. Now it's with Dwyer, chips it through, it's come back. Yes, Vivas is in. Oh, superb try. Phil Vivas goes in the second try of the season, following play up. That's what's paid dividends. The Saints certainly backing up in numbers. Good display, plenty of hands, letting the ball do the work. Bernard Dwyer went for the line, he chipped it. It bounced off a Wakefield player, ricocheted back. Phil Vivers was there in support, picked it up, thank you very much, over for another 4-pointer. Saints' fourth try. 24-4 now. Paul Loughlin, 20 metres out, just to the left of the sticks. Looking for his fifth of the afternoon. 15 minutes remaining, and it's just a matter of time there, wasn't it, before the Saints penetrated the Wakefield line. Loughlin chips it over, unfortunately, not got his kicking boots on. Missed a few that we would expect Paul to backheel over. Well, both teams down to 12 men, with John Neal and Simon Longstaff in the sin bin. Adam Fogarty just come out warming up, and it's a good chance that he may be brought on to replace George Mann, who's still having a little bit of trouble with that leg injury. Well, Gus O'Donnell took his eye off it, bangs it down in disgust. Obviously it's going to put pressure on the Saints now, with a scrum down to be formed with a Wakefield feed. Hanlon to feed. The referee not happy with it, feeds it again. Saints defence going to be tested now. Spencer and Mason, they combine to try to put Wakefield in for the first score. The first try anyway. They've got 2 penalty goals. Forshaw, inside ball to Marlowe. He straightens it up, he's looking for support. The man's not down yet. The Saints tackling, will have to be firm. 2 and 3 men in, smother the ball at all times. Well, inside ball, both prop forwards there. Steve Durham coming within 2 or 3 metres after John Thompson had done a lot of the spade work. Forshaw now, still keeping the ball moving. Well, has he taken the wrong option, Durham? About 3 or 4 men on his left, and he took it back over to the right. But it's Wakefield now, looking to move it. Good clamp tackling again, the last one of the sequence. And they've missed their way a bit, Wakefield. Hanlon has it. Long ball to Goddard, he's well taken down. Superb tackle by John Griffiths. Just took a knock in that tackle, but Alan Hunt comes away with it after the changeover situation. 24-4 the score, 14 minutes remaining. George Mann in possession, straightening it up, looking to be replaced by Adam Fogarty. George having a little bit of trouble with that leg injury, and 10 days rest now before the Saints' next match, which the tour match against New Zealand, a week this coming Wednesday. John Neal and Simon Longstaff looking to be reintroduced into the game. Well, Saints tried to put the ball back, Bernard Dwyer, but unfortunately John Thompson comes up with it. And now it's Wakefield in possession. Strong running by this Trinity outfit. And Saints still looking to introduce Adam Fogarty for the last 12 or so minutes. George Mann brings the substitute back, Matthew Fuller, to ground. Goddard at dummy half now with Hanlon. Well, that looked a hint forward as it went inside to Marlowe, but he keeps it going. The pack have run hard and strong for Wakefield. They threw it about quite a bit, but unfortunately they're not making good yardage. Spencer moves it over to the right, gives it to Brown. Just temporarily escapes the clutches. Back to square one. Wakefield in possession, and on the last tackle, Hanlon diagonally grubbers it through. No way through for him. Now Fogarty comes on. Well, he doesn't yet. John Neal and Simon Longstaff are back on, but the referee stops play while Fogarty is introduced and George Mann comes off. A well-earned round of applause for George Mann. Saints will restart. And Fogarty right in at the action. Been out for a couple of weeks with a nasty gash on his chin. He tried to slip it up there to Alan Hunt coming through. Unfortunately, Hunt couldn't take it. A scrum down midway between the 20-metre area, the Saints 20-metre area, and the halfway line. Well, not a lot of action, Neil. Well, those two players was off in the sin bin. Just after Phil Weaver's try. A well-worked try, but now Wakefield with a chance to try and get on the board.
Indeed so. They've come back very well since St Helens increased the lead to 24-4, and they're moving forward with some pace here. This is Mason. Well, good defensive work coming in. Held up at the last there, but wonderful pacey play coming in for the Wakefield outfit. They're looking for a score. Well, all gets a little bit untidy, eventually gathered by Richard Goddard. Offloads to Gary Spencer. Wonderful pace, plays the ball inside. Out to Paul Brown. And brought to ground. So St Helens having to get through a little bit of defence here. Thompson. And Thompson held up without too many problems. They'll start again here. For short, lovely ball. Must be a score. Indeed so. Well, been threatening that for certainly the last few minutes, the Wakefield side. St Helens, since securing the 24-4 advantage, have laid on the laurels just a little bit, and that has offered Steve Durham to grab 4 points for the Wakefield side. The kick will be taken by Richard Goddard, and one would safely presume that this will be tucked away without too many problems. So, the final 10 minutes of this one. Scoreline at the moment, St Helens 24, Wakefield 8.
Yes, thanks, Neil. Durham squeezing in there. Perhaps they deserved a try. They've certainly backed up well. The first real lively attack on the Saints line, but good backing up. Forshaw it was that slipped the ball up. Durham in support. Goddard converts it, and that makes it 24-10. They have run hard, the Wakefield forwards, with Durham and Thompson in the front row. Ian Marlowe, since he came on at half-time, has also run strongly. Saints just taking down there. Durham scored it. He was tackled, but his strength took him over. Phil Weavers will get the game underway, with Wakefield playing with the sun in their eyes. You can see the man just shielding his eyes there as the ball came down, but they have possession. Longstaff back after his 10 minutes enforced rest. Now it's Bell from acting half-back position. But even though there's only 10 minutes and Saints with virtually a commanding lead at 24-10, he still can't ease off. The tackle has got to be counted. Well, the man pumping his legs and driving forward there, and we've seen referee Smith call held for tackles like that before. He didn't on that occasion, till the man was grounded. Now it's with Andy Mason, the last tackle of the sequence for Wakefield. Hanlon has it, lofted ball. Well, I'm going to say it's going to be a knock forward, but Wakefield run it. Wilson has it. Saints have only got to tackle the man. It's the last tackle of the sequence. Longstaff punts it upfield, and it finds touch just by the corner flag. Saints should have had this ball snuffed out just inside their own half, but Longstaff forced it into the corner. Scrum down 10 metres from the Saints line, 10 metres in from touch. John Griffiths to feed it. Wakefield pushing hard in the scrum as Griffiths brings the ball away. Substitute back Matthew Fuller brings him down, and now Saints move it across. Adam Fogarty back on the bench. Obviously Andy Dannett injured, a shoulder injury sustained at Featherstone. as Chris Joint brings the ball upfield. Centre field, good yardage. 6 minutes remaining of the game. Beavers onto Gus O'Donnell. Gus O'Donnell gets it away. Good play there. Alan Hunt has to take the tackle of Wilson. Saints lining out here for obviously a planned ploy as Neil drives in. Loose play by the Saints. Well, Beavers gets it away to Bernard Dwyer. Oh, on to David Lyon. The ball's still loose. Must be Saints' ball. He's not waved the tackle count off. It's the last tackle of the sequence. And Cooper now lofts it out there. Chris Joint running out wide. Joint straightens up. Inside ball to Loughlin. Oh, Loughlin under the sticks. Maybe a little fortunate over here just in front of us with Saints getting the ball back and the referee ruling that it was the last tackle, and that's good play on the 6th tackle. It was moved over to the left and then Paul Loughlin was brought in on the opposite diagonal. A massive hole in the Wakefield defence. He scooted through, went under the sticks, and they'll have no problem converting this, will he, Neil?
Certainly not wrong, but wonderful vision there from team captain Shane Cooper on the final tackle. Decided to go for gold, as it were. Took play out to the left flank. Chris Joint was involved. He was decisive in his movements. Played the ball inside to Loughlin, and Loughlin had, well, the simplest of tasks to pop the ball down under the post. He'll now attempt to add a couple more for St Helens. Online. So that makes the scoreline 30 points to 10. Just getting confirmation there from Ron. So St Helens now, without question, have achieved victory here this afternoon. A couple of points in the bag. Not been the most impressive of performance from St Helens this afternoon, but certainly a workmanlike performance against a very keen Wakefield outfit. And Sonny Nicol prepares to re-enter the fray. And Chris Joint, who featured in the Paul Loughlin try, will leave the field to a very warm reception indeed.
So Sonny Nicol back on for the last 4 minutes. Chris Joint off. Wakefield restart. Alan Hunt slips it out to Mike Riley. Limited touches for this wingman, as we've said before. Well, Wakefield striking at the ball. That's going to be another 6 tackles. Saints have possession. Well, the referee there, he's blown up for some offence. The referee was right on the job. He looked at the touch judge on his left. He then notices that the touch judge on the right had come on. Wakefield had struck for that ball. Saints got the ball back, and well, anybody's guess. Well, he's penalised St Helens, impeding the man at the play of the ball. Wakefield take it quickly. Well, I always think it's tidy if the referee's right on the job. He had as good a view as we had there, and he had to look with his touch judges. I do agree that these 3 officials should work together, but say it's being harshly done again there, in my impartial view. And well, O'Donnell does well there. Took the man off the ball. Well, I don't mean took him off the ball. He rushed at Hanlon. Obviously, he was rushing at him. He took him out as he was hoping to get the ball and get it away. And Saints come up with possession, and John Neal has it and drives it forward. Dwyer steps up at dummy half. We're talking about the last couple of minutes, and John Griffith carves a big hole down the centre, shrugs the tacklers off. David Lyon has it. Saints still throwing it about. Sonny Nicol now gets the ball off David Lyon. Nicol there powers his way forward. 30 points to 10 the score. Saints looking to finish with a flourish. 20 points separating the sides. Vivers puts up a tester. David Lyon comes for it. Is it Vivers that has it back? No, it's Shane Cooper, I think. but the tackle count waved clean. And Shane Cooper took exception to that tackle. Now it's with John Neal, looking for the gap. Neal drives it forward, crying out for support. Saints have got to follow the man with the ball. Dwyer now, he'll go. Yes, Dwyer's in. Nothing more than the Saints deserve. Bernard Dwyer in for his third of the season. Just a minute before the final hooter. Nothing more, Neil, than the Saints deserve. Persistence has paid off, and Dwyer in for a try. He's took him a little bit of a knock, but an excellent finish to a good afternoon's work.
Indeed so, Ron. St Helens now 34-10 in the lead. Final moments of this encounter. Bernard Dwyer, hopefully the injury isn't too severe. Wonderful score there. He saw the gap, darted into it, touchdown for St Helens. Paul Loughlin now will prepare to add a couple more. So St Helens' winning ways continue. Bernard Dwyer back on his feet, that's good to see. Proving his worth this afternoon, having been omitted from Mal Reilly's Great Britain squad for the big test match next weekend. So Paul Loughlin, one would presume, should clip this one over without too many problems. Indeed so, the kick is online, and that will complete affairs this afternoon. 36 points to 10 St Helens, and another couple of points in the bag, Ron.
Yes, excellent. We was expected to have a lot of points this afternoon, Neil. Obviously it's come off in the end, but 36 points to 10. You can only play as well as the opposition will let you, and I feel that Wakefield were allowed to encroach on the offside position a little more than we would have liked them to. But anyway, a good performance in the end. 6 tries and 6 goals. 2 for David Lyon, 1 each for Hunt, Vevers, Loughlin and Bernard Dwyer right at the death. 6 goals, I beg your pardon, from Paul Loughlin. He must have missed about 2 or 3. But let's hope the players now can shake all the knocks off from this afternoon's game. 10 days now before we play the New Zealand tourists. A week this coming Wednesday. Another game that I hope you'll join us on your Saints video team. Big cheers just going around the ground as the score goes up on the board as New Zealand 21, Wigan 18. So that looks, whether that's a final score, I don't know. I think it is, but it looks an exciting game. Anyway, thanks once again for joining us. You've been with your Saints video team. My name's Ron Hoof. We've had Neil Johnson with his expert summary. Join us here at Nosey Road when we play the New Zealanders in 10 days. Thanks again. See you soon.